Hey, Sal.
Hank, what's going on? We haven't worked a case in years.
I just bought my car at Carvana, and it was so easy. Too easy.
Think something's up?
You tell me. They got thousands of options. Found a great car at a great price. And it got delivered the next day.
It sounds like Carvana just makes it easy to buy your car, Hank.
Yeah, you're right. Case closed.
Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
America leads the world in medicine development. It matters. We get new medicines first, nearly 3 years faster. 5 million Americans go to work because we make medicines here at home. And not relying on other countries keeps us safe. But China is racing to overtake us. Will we let them, or will we choose to stay ahead? When America leads, America cures. Let's tell Washington to keep us in the lead.
Learn how at americacures.com. Paid for by Pharma.
This is Optimal Finance Daily, How to Model the Retirement Income Gap, Part 2, by Darrow Kirkpatrick of CanIRetireYet.com. Present value. If the cash flow modeling previously described requires more time, detail, and expense than you can muster right now, what are your options? A simpler approach, though it still requires some tool support, is present value analysis. The concept of present value may be less intuitive at first, unless you already have a technical bent. But you'll like the implications because you can use it to find that single mythical retirement number, even though you might have uneven income flows out in your future. Present value analysis is based on the well-known financial principle of the time value of money. If you have some appreciation for why interest rates exist, or how a bird in the hand is better than one in the bush, then you can probably understand that a future promise of money is worth less than that same sum today and must be discounted back to the present. This approach simplifies complex future financial events, whether lump sums or income streams, by converting those future sums of money into a present value, a single number in today's dollars. From that point, the analysis is easy. Simply add up all your income as present values. Either you have enough on hand today to cover your expenses with a safe withdrawal rate, or you don't, in which case you keep working. The main benefit of present value analysis is that it lends itself to simpler calculations and simpler output results to manage. In theory, you could compute present value for all of your future events, just like the cash flow analysis. But in practice, the method favors a rough cut estimation of just your major future cash flows, such as a pension or Social Security. So in the end, you're dealing with just a few numbers. That rough cut estimation is also the greatest limitation of this approach. It might gloss over the finer points of retirement cash flows and give you a misleading answer that doesn't adequately model investment returns or inflation or your own life events. A benefit is that tools for a present value analysis are readily available. Any decent financial calculator can tell you the present value of a future lump sum or cash flow once you specify the time span and an interest rate. There are numerous such calculators freely available on the web. Once you know your current savings and have determined the present values of any expected future income, you can add them together and find out if you have enough. You'll wind up with a single number that represents all of your retirement assets. What did we forget? So, I've described two relatively simple approaches for how to model a retirement income gap or gaps and find out if your money will last. But before we wrap up, let me note some critical limitations of either of these analyses, why they only give rough answers and can even provide a false sense of security. For starters, such approaches require predicting future inflation, interest rates, or investment returns. You might use a conservative average or current rate of return for bonds, though even that can be problematic. And future inflation is anybody's guess. The best advice is to pick a range of reasonable rates, highs and lows, and bracket your future under the best case and worst case scenarios. There's another critical limitation. Neither of these approaches alone, either analyzing cash flows or computing present values, accounts for the impact of randomness, the potential variation in sequence of returns for your investment portfolio. They assume that the economy and markets will be consistent year after year, the same inflation, the same investment returns, but we all know that just isn't so. What if the market tanks at the start of your retirement and requires years to recover? Research shows that you must take out insurance against such possibilities by banking some of your investment return each year instead of consuming it. You can't live on the average return of the market. The more precise answer can be obtained through simulations using historical market data or Monte Carlo analysis or a safe withdrawal rate. Though, no surprise, there are theoretical limitations to all of these approaches too. If you're equipped for those more sophisticated analyses, go for it. But if not, understand that we're talking here about a simulation of an ill-defined reality far into an unpredictable future. The basic approaches previously outlined, cash flow and present value, are good enough starting points. Just don't take their results, or any financial planning for that matter, as gospel. You just listened to part 2 of the post titled How to Model the Retirement Income Gap by Darrow Kirkpatrick of CanIRetireYet.com. When you're ready to start a business, there's so much more to it than just filing paperwork. You need a business address, a website, a phone number, an operating agreement, basically a complete business identity. And Northwest Registered Agent helps you build all of that from day one. Northwest Registered Agent has been helping small business owners and entrepreneurs launch and grow businesses for nearly 30 years. They're the largest registered agent and LLC service in the U.S., with over 1,500 corporate guides, real people who know your local laws and can help you and your business every step of the way. Plus, your home address, personal email, and phone number stay private. No upsells, no selling your data. Don't pay hundreds or thousands of dollars for what you can get from Northwest for free. Visit northwestregisteredagent.com/OFD free and start using free resources to build something amazing. Get more with Northwest Registered Agent at northwestregisteredagent.com/OFD free.
Spring starts at the Home Depot, and we are bringing the heat to your backyard this season. Fire up the flavor with our wide variety of grills for under $300, like the Next Grill 4-burner gas grill that's perfect for hosting your spring cookout. Then set the scene and turn your outdoor space into the go-to spot with patio sets for every budget. Bring it this season with grills that deliver flavor and patios that set the vibe from the Home Depot. Start your spring with low prices guaranteed at the Home Depot. Exclusions apply. See homedepot.com/price match for details.
I wanted to reiterate Darrow's last point here, that much of this analysis and planning are based on assumptions and should be used as a starting point. There are definitely rough guidelines to ensure that you do have enough money to retire. A general rule of thumb is that you need 25 times your yearly expenses. But your drawdown strategy will need to be reassessed yearly so that it aligns with what is actually happening with your money. Not only can you not predict what the market will do, your circumstances are likely to change over time in ways you might not be able to anticipate. While that seems scary, and it's totally understandable to worry about running out of money in retirement, I'll share something that makes me feel better about it. I was at a Camp FI event where half the attendees retired early and are actively drawing down from their portfolios using a guideline like the 4% rule, guideline being the key word here. The overwhelming issue that most people in the room had was realizing that they saved way too much money simply out of fear. Now their main challenge is figuring out how to pull from the right buckets and do Roth conversions at the right time to minimize their lifetime tax burden. I think the bigger challenge for many people in the FIRE community in particular is a tendency to work longer just in case, even when they hit their goal number and really want to quit. And that's another episode of Optimal Finance Daily in the books. I'll be back tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.